Hi again, Dobby. Glad to see you didn't run away on us.
Nah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but at least I keep my word. Well, I'm back at the literature club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out.
Thanks for keeping your promise, Dobby. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it.
Oh, come on. Like he deserves any slack. Sayori told me you didn't even want to join any clubs this year. And last year, too. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what. But if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it.
Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room. Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monica and manga.
Manga is literature.
Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat.
Don't worry. Don't worry, guys. Dobby always gives it his best as long as he's having fun. He helps me with busy work without me even asking. Like cooking, cleaning my room.
How dependable.
Sayori, that's because your room is so messy. It's distracting. And you almost set your house on fire once.
Is that so?
You two really are good friends, aren't you? I might be a little jealous.
How come? You and Dobby can become good friends too.
Sayori?
Hmm?
As usual, Sayori seems oblivious to the weird situation she just put me into.
Oh, Yuri even brought you something today, you know.
Well, wait, Sayori.
Me?
Not really.
Don't be shy.
It's really nothing.
What is it?
Never mind. Sayori made it sound like a big deal when it's really not. What do I do?
Huh? I'm sorry, Yuri, I wasn't thinking.
I guess that means it's up to me to rescue this situation.
Hey, don't worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place, so any nice gesture from you is a pleasant surprise. It'll make me happy no matter what.
Is that so?
Yeah, I won't make it a big deal if you don't want it to be.
Alright. Well, here.
Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book.
I didn't want you to feel left out. So I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention even if you don't usually read. And we could, you know, discuss it if you wanted.
This is... How is this girl accidentally being so cute?
'Cause you're a simp and you're gonna find her cute. Duh. You really need to understand what you're doing here, man. She even picked out a book she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. Of course you're gonna read it. Of course. And you're gonna enthusiastically take it too, 'cause, you know, you find her cute. I enthusiastically take the book. Well,
can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think.
Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monica to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Sayori and Monica are having a cheery conversation in the corner. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more. But at the same time, I would feel bad for distracting her from her reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book that she lent to me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Crap. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me, and our eyes meet for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book.
Sorry. I was just
spacing out. I mutter this, sensing I made her uncomfortable.
Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so...
That's the book you gave to me, right?
Mm-hmm. I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason.
Just curious, how come you have 2 copies of the same book?
Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... that's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy 2 of them.
I see. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decide to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon.
I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story.
Is that so? What's it about, anyway?
Well,
Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover.
Alright. I just wanted to make sure that I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison. And while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationships and her life starts to fall apart.
That's kinda dark, isn't it? Didn't she say she likes horror? Were you not listening to her? What am I saying? Of course you weren't. Yuri made it sound like it was gonna be a nice story, so that dark turn came from nowhere. Yuri gently giggles all of a sudden.
Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Darby?
No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kinds of stories, so don't worry.
I hope so.
Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri is into those things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different.
It's just that those kinds of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a strange new perspective.
When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals or their own philosophy that they believe in. Then suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonist, they're made out to be the naive one for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plans. I'm rambling again, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry.
Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything.
Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much.
I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all.
That's true.
In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right?
You don't have to.
What are you saying? Just a moment ago you said you were looking forward to it. Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I had put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? I slip into the seat next to Yuri's.
Subtle, man. Very subtle. I mean, at least you're trying to be bold and let her know that you like her. Huh. Yeah.
Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive.
I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in the company with someone.
I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything.
Alright.
I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead.
Sorry. I was just...
Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you?
I do. I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean...
Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk up until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them.
I suppose so.
Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching.
Wow, this guy doesn't waste a beat.
It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. Oh, I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the page.
Here.
Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. Oh, I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way, I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before.
Yeah. This is definitely really quick, but I guess romance game, what do you expect? It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face, and she's in the corner of my vision.
Are you ready
Eh?
to turn the page?
Sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again, and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her.
That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me.
Yeah. Thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey, Yuri. This might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit.
You think so? How does she?
Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways. But she also second guesses all of the things that she says and does. Like she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I can see into your head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms.
I see.
Yuri remains silent for a moment.
But Dobby, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. That's so embarrassing that you think that.
Wait. I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. Sorry, I really didn't know you were self-conscious about that sort of thing. I guess I meant more that it's kind of cute.
What are you saying all of a sudden? Okay, everyone. I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long.
Yuri exhales, spared from finishing her thought.
Is that all right, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this.
It's not. It's fine.
Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. All right. I guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer I only read it with you?
I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way.
In that case, I'll read a little more tonight. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit, you know?
That's good reasoning. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters on your own time.
All right. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book. Then slip it back into my bag.
By the way, did you remember to write a poem last night?
Yeah. My relaxation ends. I can't believe I agreed to do something so embarrassing. I couldn't really find much inspiration since I've never really done this before.
Well, now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share with?
I can't wait.
Sayori and Monica enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayori's is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Monica wrote hers in a composition notebook. I can already see Monica's pristine handwriting from where I sit. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. I do the same myself. Okay, I need to drink water for a second. Okay, I like Monica more, but I'll go Sayori because I'll just work my way down the list. I'm definitely most comfortable sharing it with Sayori first. She's my good friend, after all.
This is a good poem, Dobby. Are you sure it's your first time?
Of course. It's not that good. Am I the kind of guy who would be writing poems in his spare time?
I guess you're right. But that's why it impressed me. Well, to be honest, I was afraid that you wouldn't do it seriously, or that you wouldn't write one at all. I'm really happy that you wrote one. It just reminds me of how you're really part of the club now.
Not to mention the fact that I'm standing in front of you in the club room. Well, of course. I'm not really into it yet, but that doesn't mean I'll break my promise.
See? It's like I said before, Dobby. Deep down, you're not selfish at all, you know? Trying new things like this for other people. That's something only really good people do.
Thanks, Sayori. I'm not sure if Sayori sees the full picture of my motive here. I hope she doesn't see the full picture of your motive, dude. I hope not. Then again, I can't deny that she's part of the reason I joined. Knowing how much this means to her and all.
Yeah. And I'm gonna make sure you have lots of fun here, okay? That will be my way of thanking you.
Alright, I'm gonna hold you to that then.
Yay! Now you read my poem too, right? Don't worry, I'm really bad at this.
We'll see about that. I'm just gonna read this in my normal voice. Dear sunshine, the way you glow through my blinds in the morning, it makes me feel like you missed me. Kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever, but I'm not mad. I want breakfast. I feel that. Sayori. This is just a guess, but did you wait until this morning to write this?
No. Just a little bit.
You can't answer just a little bit to a yes or no question.
I forgot to do it last night.
Well, at least that makes me feel a little better about myself.
Don't be mean. I still tried my best.
Oh, yeah. I didn't mean to say that it was a bad poem. It came out nice. Or, how should I put it? It sounds just like you.
Really?
Yeah. Especially that last line.
I made eggs and toast.
Even though you were late to school.
It's bad to skip breakfast. I get all cranky.
Well, I guess there's no point in arguing. Anyway, Thanks for showing me.
This was so much fun. Monica's the best.
Yeah.
But next time I won't forget. And I'm gonna write the best poem ever.
Well, I guess I look forward to it. Alright, let's do Natsuki.
Tabby, if you're not gonna take this club seriously, then go home.
What? Harsh.
What do you expect me to believe that you actually put effort into this? Do you think I'm stupid?
I'm not a writer. Maybe it's not very good, but yeah, I did put in effort. We all start somewhere, right? If you're still proud of the first poem you ever wrote, then I'd like to read it. Painful to think about.
Fine.
What?
Well, sorry. You'll get better anyway. I tell you what to improve, but you're better off just trying again.
Fair enough. Well, to each their own, I guess.
Anyway, I guess I gotta share mine now. Knowing you, you'll probably think it's stupid.
Eagles can fly. Monkeys can climb. Crickets can leap. Horses can race. Owls can seek. Cheetahs can run. Eagles can fly. People can try. But that's about it.
Yeah. I told you that you weren't gonna like it.
I like it.
What? Just be honest.
I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it?
Well, because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff, so people don't even take my writing seriously. But this isn't the point of poems for people to try to express themselves.
Your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid.
Yes, exactly. I like when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard. Like in this poem, seeing everyone around you do great things can be really disheartening. So I decided to write about it.
Yeah, I understand.
But the other nice thing about simple writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like, I set up for a rhyme at the end, but then made it fall flat on purpose. It helps bring out the feeling in the last line.
So you did. I guess more went into that than I realized.
That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you?
Yeah, I guess not. I decided to humor her with that last comment. I don't really care how old everyone is, but if Natsuki is feeling proud, then I won't take that away from her. Oh, Monica, I can't wait for you to read mine, but Yuri first. As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten.
Exceptional.
Eh? What was that?
Did I say that out loud?
Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face.
He's going to hate me?
You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri.
I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for?
Yuri takes a breath.
So, What kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before.
Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time, really. Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again.
Oh, I know that. I just meant,
Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her finger along the words in the poem, as if breaking it down more thoroughly.
Yeah. Okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they fit the two together. The end result is that both the style and the expressiveness are weakened.
Once Yuri finds her train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert. I think I stammered through that. Whoops.
Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little bit biased, though.
Biased? How? Dude, did you meet her?
Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about other people like that. Sorry.
It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri is apologizing to herself, to me, or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now?
Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it.
Yuri smiles dreamily, as if that's a rare opportunity for her, which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Okay, before I read that, I gotta drink it.
Ghost under the light. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath amber glow, bathing. It must be this one. The last remaining streetlight to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe. Calm, breathing air of the present, but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. I'm sorry, I have such terrible handwriting.
What? I wasn't thinking that at all.
But it took you a long time to read.
Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty.
That's a relief.
Also, I liked the poem. Even though it's short, it really was descriptive.
It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems.
Not at all.
I'm really glad you like it. I'll be honest. Since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose.
Are you into ghosts, Yuri?
Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Dobby.
Really? I must have totally missed the point.
Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember, that poem's But remember that poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost. Lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing.
That's a lot more solemn putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive.
It's nothing, really. Yours was impressive too, so...
Nah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you.
You think so?
Yeah, of course.
Huh. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end, I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, Dobby.
Ah, me too.
Well, hello, Monica. I don't know what it is about Monica. I just love the way she stares into my soul, crushing it bit by bit.
Hi, Dobby. Having a good time so far?
Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay?
Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course, I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in.
Anyway, want to share your poem with me?
It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I'll have to.
Don't worry, Dobby. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? But it's that sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon.
Yeah, that's true. I hand Monica my poem.
Mm-hmm. Great job, Dobby. I was going, oh, in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you.
It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way, it always counts when I put in some effort.
Is that me? Whoa. This guy said something I have actually said. I'm impressed. You know, I hate this guy a little less now.
That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Unlike Sayori, who likes using simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness, Yuri likes it when readers are often left to derive their own meaning out of it. It's very challenging to write like that effectively, both allowing people to get something out of it just by feel, or letting them deeply analyze all of the nuances. It can take years of practice, which I'm assuming that Yuri has at this point. I never really asked, though.
I'm sure I'm nowhere near her level yet.
Don't worry so much about it. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learn by trying new things.
I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. It could take a while before I feel comfortable doing this.
That's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little bit biased toward their own kinds of styles, but I'll always help you find what suits you the most. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good.
You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good.
Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know?
I see. Well, let's read it then.
Hole in the wall. It couldn't have been me. See the direction in the spackle protrudes? A noisy neighbor? An angry boyfriend? I'll never know. I wasn't home. I peer inside for a clue. No, I can't see. I reel, blind like a film left out in the sun. But it's too late. My retinas, already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. It's just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It was too deep, stretching forever into everything. A hole of infinite choices. I realize now that I wasn't looking in, I was looking out, and he, on the other side, was looking in. Okay, I actually really like that poem. I'm not saying that because I like Monica as a character. I'm actually impressed with that poem. So, what do you think?
It's very free form, if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback.
It's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting more emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When people performed out loud, it can be really... Why did I add people? When performed out loud, it can be really powerful.
What was the inspiration behind this one?
Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit.
An epiphany?
Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening.
Phew. I guess that's everyone. I glance around the room. That was a little more stressful than I anticipated. It's as if everyone is judging me for my mediocre writing abilities. Even if they're just being nice, there's no way my poems can stand up to theirs. This is a literature club, after all. I sigh. I guess that's what I ended up getting myself into. Across the room, Sayori and Monica are happily chatting. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As they read in tandem, I watch their expressions change. Natsuki's eyebrows furrow in frustration. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly.
What's with this language?
Did you say something?
Oh, it's nothing.
Natsuki dismissively returns the poem to the desk with one hand.
I guess you could say it's fancy.
Thanks. Yours is cute.
Can you? Did you just completely miss the symbolism or something? It's clearly about the feeling of giving up. How can that be cute?
I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice.
You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say?
Look who's talking, Natsuki.
Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all.
Well, I do have a couple suggestions.
If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Sayori liked it, and Dobby did too. So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all,
Excuse me. I appreciate the offer, but I've spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime soon unless, of course, I come across something particularly inspiring. Which I haven't yet. And Dobby liked my poem too, you know. He even told me that he was impressed by it. Natsuki. Oh, why did I do that? Natsuki suddenly stands up.
oh, I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri.
That's not what I... Ugh. You're just... Yuri stands up as well. Maybe you're just jealous that Dobby appreciates my advice more than he appreciated yours.
How do you know he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself?
No. If I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cutesy.
Is everyone okay? Well, you know what? I wasn't the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as Dobby started showing up.
I don't know why I found that funny, but I found that funny. Oh my god. I found that funny. Natsuki? Natsuki, that's a little... This doesn't involve you. Can't do two voices at once, so...
I don't like fighting, guys.
Suddenly, both girls turned towards me as if they just noticed I was standing there. Dobby, she's just trying to make me look bad.
That's not true. She started it.
I disagree with that, Natsuki. I think you're the one who started that one.
If she can just get over herself and learn to appreciate that simple writing is more effective, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. What's the point in making your poems all convoluted for no reason? The meaning should jump out at the reader, not force them to have to figure it out. Help me explain that to her, Dobby.
Oh, wait. There's a reason we have so many deep and expressive words in our language. It's the only way to convey complex feelings and meaning the most effectively. Avoiding them is not unnecessarily limiting yourself, it's also a waste. You understand that, right, Dobby? Well, how did I get dragged into this in the first place? It's not like I know anything about writing. But whomever I agree with, they'll probably think more highly of me. So of course that's gonna be. Of course I'm actually gonna go on Yuri's side. Natsuki's the one who started this. Sayori can stay out of it. They asked me. Wait, what? Natsuki, you're right that I liked your poem. Oh, it was him talking to her. It wasn't... For a minute I thought it chose Natsuki and I clicked Yuri.
See?
Wait, that's not an excuse for you to be so mean. You shouldn't pick a fight just because someone's opinion is different.
That's not what happened at all.
That's exactly what happened.
Yuri wouldn't even take my poem seriously.
I understand. Yuri?
Huh?
You're a seriously talented writer. It's no secret that I was impressed.
Well, that's...
But here's the thing. No matter how simple or refined someone's writing style is, they're still putting feelings into it, and it becomes something really personal. That's why Natsuki felt threatened when you said her poem was cute.
I see. I didn't notice that. I'm sorry. Oh,
But Natsuki, you took it way too far. Yuri means well, and if you just told her how you felt, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place.
are you kidding? That's exactly what I did. It was her that...
Natsuki, I think that's enough. You both said some things that you didn't mean. Yuri apologized. Don't you think you should too?
Nah.
Natsuki clenched her fists. In the end, nobody has taken her side. She's trapped at this point, being defiant only because she can't handle the pressure. I end up even feeling bad for her.
Sometimes when I'm hurt, it helps to take a walk and clear my head.
Sayori, she doesn't need to.
You know what? I'm going to do that. It'll spare me from having to look at all your faces right now.
Good, I don't want to look at you either. Without warning, Natsuki snatches her own poem up from the desk and storms out. On her way out, she crumples up the poem with her hands and throws it in the trash.
Natsuki.
She really didn't need to do that. I look across the room. Yuri has her chin buried in her hands while she stares down at her desk. I gingerly approach her and sit in an adjacent chair.
Sigh.
Everything all right?
I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I acted like that. You probably hate me now.
No, Yuri. How could anyone not have gotten frustrated after being treated like that? You handled it as well as anyone could. I don't think any less of you.
Well, alright, I believe you. Thanks, Dobby. You're too kind. I'm thankful to have you part of this club now.
It's nothing.
One more thing. That one thing Natsuki said about, I would never do anything so shameful. So,
What thing did Natsuki say?
well, never mind that. I'm going to make some tea.
Oh, good idea. Make enough for me. Oh, make enough for more than one person, okay?
Yeah. Okay, everyone. It's just about time for us to leave. How did you all feel about sharing poems? It was a lot of fun. Well, I'd say it was worth it. It was alright. Well, mostly. Dobby, how about you?
Yeah, I'd say the same. It was a neat thing to talk about with everyone.
Awesome. In that case, we'll do the same thing tomorrow. And maybe you learned something from your friends too. So your poems will turn out even better.
I think to myself, I did learn a little more about what kinds of poems everyone likes. With any luck, that means I can at least do a better job impressing those I want to impress. I nod to myself with newfound determination.
Dobby, ready to walk home?
Sure, let's go. Sayori beams at me. It truly has been a while since Sayori and I have spent this much time together. I can't really say I'm not enjoying it either. Sayori, about what happened earlier.
What do you mean?
You know, between Yuri and Natsuki. Does that kind of thing happen often?
No. That's really the first time I've seen them fight like that. I promise they're both wonderful people. You don't hate them, do you?
No, I don't hate them. I just wanted your opinion, that's all. I can see why they'd make good friends with you.
Phew. You know, Dobby, it's nice that I get to spend time with you in the club. But I think seeing you get along with everyone else is what makes me the happiest. And I think everyone really likes you too.
That's...
Every day is gonna be so much fun.
Sigh. It looks like Sayori still hasn't caught on to the kind of situation I'm in. Sure, being friends with everyone is nice, but does it really need to stop there?
Brother, it should stop there. You're not dating everyone in that club. I'm not letting you date everyone in that club. I will delete this game before you date everyone in that club. Because that means I'm going to have even more reading to do. Plus, you know, don't be a womanizer.
Well, we'll just have to see what the future holds, Sayori. I pat Sayori on the shoulder. I said that more to myself than her, but it's easy to use Sayori as an internal monologue sometimes.
Yay.
Yeah, let's do this.
Now, why can't I write anything for Monica? I noticed she's not over there on this side. They're really making me have to romance one of these three. I would like to know how these come out. I would. I like how a lot of the words I like are the ones that make Yuri happy. I don't want to pick the same words, but I feel like maybe I should just romance Yuri at this point. And since what I like seems to be what she likes, I will just pick what I like.